Hey, peace family, it's Jay Morrison, and I want to solve all of our myths around good debt and bad debt and really describe to you and prescribe to you how you play the game. Many people will just say, leave debt alone, debt is bad, debt is the devil, and I think that's BS. Debt can be a lifesaver to us and our businesses, but we got to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. See, the good debt is debt that you're able to use and leverage to your advantage. It's not so much even about the interest rate. It's about us being informed enough to understand interest rates, the principal, and our term, right? So there's three things you want to understand. There's always the principal of your loan, right, or your debt. That's the amount that you actually use, that you're actually borrowing. There's the interest rate on that term, which is the interest you're paying back. That's the bank's profit or your lender's profit. Then there's the time or term on that debt, right? Sometimes it's a few months, sometimes it's 360 months or 30 years, right? So we want to be cognizant of the term, we want to be cognizant of our principal loan amount, and we'll be cognizant of that interest rate, and also if there's any prepayment penalty to us paying it all back fast, right? So sometimes lenders will loan you money and say, hey, yeah, take the loan, don't pay me back for 30 years, don't worry about it. But if you pay them back too soon, they actually charge you more because they want to make that money and that interest over a long time. So be on the lookout for prepayment penalties with any of your loans. Now, debt, again, is good, and I've taken on 72% interest loans. Not that I like to do it, but I was in a position where I was new in business. My business was not thriving, it was struggling. I couldn't find any cheaper money anywhere else. No one else would loan me money. I couldn't go to the bank and get any other money. So this is my one outlet to keep my business surviving and make payroll. So was 72% interest good debt or bad debt? In my opinion, it was damn good because it helped my business survive. And then I turned the corner, my business began to thrive. And then if I look back at the ROI of what I borrowed compared to what I made ever since then, it's in the millions of dollars, right? So I turned a 72% interest loan into multi-millions of dollars of business revenue, okay? So what would have been bad about it is me not understanding the loan. What would have been bad about it is me staying in that loan and not paying it off aggressively. What would be bad about it is me thinking that loan was gonna save me somehow, right? When it's only a bridge loan or a gap. So bad debt essentially is debt that we take on mainly for consumerism. So when we take on debt to buy more liabilities, which go down in value, you're in a lose-lose situation. But when you take on debt to invest that debt, which is a liability, into something that becomes an asset and goes up in value, you've now leveled the playing field and at one point can swing the playing field to your asset favor, right? So good debt is debt that you can borrow, use, and leverage in strategic alignment to make you more money and to grow your asset column. All that to me is good debt as long as you go into it knowledgeable and cognizant of the rate and the term and understanding, right, all what's around that your borrower agreement. Now, if you're going into it illiterate, financially illiterate, and you don't know what you're doing, all of it's bad debt because right now you're just rolling the dice and you just ain't informed enough. But if you go into it, also understanding that if you have high interest debt, but you have low interest opportunity, and that low interest debt can swallow up or consolidate your high interest debt, you may want to have your lower interest actually pay off your higher interest. So you still got the same amount of principal balance in debt, right? So I got 30 grand of high interest debt, but now I got 30 grand of availability of credit on low interest. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna keep paying the high interest and paying the bank and the lender more money unnecessarily. I'm always gonna try to keep my position of debt as the cheapest money possible, the cheapest interest in terms available to me. That's how we play the game. Take on the debt, but do it from a perspective of having a plan, having a strategy, being knowledgeable, being informed about finances, and having an exit strategy, right? An exit plan of how you pay it all off. And do so with understanding that you may, as a beginner, take on higher interest rates until you prove yourself to lenders. But if you make payments over time, you can then consolidate those interest rates or refinance those interest rates or those terms to then get yourself lower debt. So use other people's money, use TBM, the bank's money, but do it strategically and always go after the cheapest money and the best terms. Don't be scared of debt, but use it to your advantage in real life.